What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today I'm going through the engagement session. I'll put the link in the description below where I put the GoPro on top of my camera, and we filmed the whole engagement session so you guys can see how I work, how I shoot and direct couples and things like that. But today we're going to go through, edit the photos, show you guys my whole process, dealing with some of the tricks with certain lenses, how my presets work on them, and all that sort of stuff. These are also going to feature my new presets that I've been working on over the last couple of months. Now don't worry, you guys that have bought my presets in the last 60 days are going to get an 80% off voucher for these new ones, so you don't feel like you've missed out or anything like that. And you guys that are buying new, you will get a discount code for the first 10 days, and that'll be in the release video when that comes out soon. Anyway, let's jump into Lightroom and I'll show you guys how we edit this session. Alright guys, here we are in Lightroom, and as you can see I've just picked out a whole bunch of photos from the engagement shoot that I thought would be interesting to edit without going through all of them to sort of make it drag on a bit. We probably will do all of these because it's quite quick. The only really major things we're going to have to adjust is white balance, and even then probably not so much. Just some of these will be a little bit too warm because I had it locked off on cloudy. Some of them, like this first one here, you're going to see how I correct the chromatic aberration. So this one here is particularly bad. None of the other ones really show it at all. I shot all of these photos on the 24mm G Master, the 1.4, and all of them are at 1.4. So shot wide open the entire time. So you know the lens isn't going to be perfect, but it's pretty amazing for what it is. So let's just jump straight into it. As you can see here, these are my 3 presets that you get with the pack now. These are the ones here that I'm working on. They're all just kind of named after edits that I made when I was shooting at this particular place. So for this one we're at Muriwai, and I made a preset for this particular beach. So we're going to go through and start editing them. So first off, this one really does need to be corrected in terms of chromatic aberration. So I find most of the time when you just click chromatic aberration, it doesn't really do a whole lot because the color is different for each lens. So this one I can see it's quite sort of reddy pinky. So I'm just going to bring this up a little bit closer together and then just click the defringe up, and then it's gone. So it's really quite simple to correct, and when it's not really bad, like when I had the Batiste, it was a little bit more difficult to correct wide open, but this one is really nice. So anyway, that's fixed. Now we can just get on with the presets. I have blown out the sky a little bit in this one, but you know, you can't save it all. So anyway, let's just jump straight into it. So that's the one click for the preset there. And I'm just going to bring the exposure up a touch. You'll see most of these shots I've shot under by usually about 1 stop, maybe a little bit more in some situations. That's because I really like to recover the highlights as much as possible, like I haven't been able to do on this one. But I'd say that's about right. As you can see, like I said before, I've sort of blown out that sky, but there's not really much to it. This shot, just quickly, I just was sort of trying to establish where we were. You can see the couple of out of focus because I focused down here on the background. Such a sharp lens at 1.4, that's pretty crazy. But anyway, this is a sort of establishing shot for where we are. Next shot, you would have seen this in the video. It's a little bit crooked. I think the trees threw me off a little bit because they're all sort of on a lane, so I'm just going to straighten that up. I try to get it right in camera as much as possible in terms of cropping because that's a big time waster. Anyway, let's chuck that preset on again, and it's a little bit too dark and definitely too warm. So I'm going to say about there. And maybe bring the shadows up a little bit on that one. But you can see there shooting under, I've had to raise it a fair bit, but the sky is, you know, there's nothing blowing out. There's nothing clipped. You could bring the shadows way further up if you wanted to, but it just kind of makes it look flat, and I don't really like it. So I'm going to stick with about there. I'm going to say that's pretty good. These shots I always iFocus really. I don't really, you know, I'm either using iFocus or medium flexible spot with the Sonys. On to the next shot. I have 2 of them here. So this one I just took kind of standard. I just asked them to look at each other. Just using the Muriwai preset again. Bring the highlights down a little bit. Warm it up a touch. And that's pretty much it. I might actually darken it a little bit. I kind of like it moody like that. And this is kind of distracting. Usually I wouldn't bother, but because it's only an engagement shoot, there's not thousands of photos to go through. I'll just clone that out. Sometimes these little distractions can make a big difference. Now this next shot is kind of the same, but what I did was just lift the camera up over my head and flip the screen down just to get a sort of different kind of perspective on that one. And now I can just copy that with the white balance and the exposure, paste it, and then you're pretty much golden. I'll just cool that one down a little bit. Yep, I'm going to call that done. Next one here, just another shot, kind of an establishing shot, just saying, you know, what they're like. They hold hands, we're going for a walk. It's just sort of telling a story about what we're doing exactly. Hit it with the mirror wire. And I'm going to say that's done. So you can see this is quite quick. What I'll do as well is just hit Command, comma, and duplicate that. And then I'll use my CTM3 black and white just to make a black and white copy of that one as well, just so you guys can see how I do that. Next up, we've got this shot. Doesn't really need to be cropped or anything, so we'll just hit it with the mirror wire, raise the exposure a little bit. So I've pretty much underexposed about a stop, but as you can see, everything is really nicely exposed. There's no clipping or anything like that, and it's kept all the nice color tones. Again, and I'm going to say that's pretty much done as well. There's really not much to it. If you get it right as much as possible in camera, I know that's a kind of cliche thing to say, but it's true. If you can get it right in camera, it makes your life much, much easier. We'll make this one a black and white. And this is the new black and white one I'm working on. It's very similar in this photo, but it changes the luminance in terms of greens and stuff, so you'll see a bit of a difference for those of you guys that have been using my CTM3 black and white over the past while. And probably just straighten this one up a little bit. And I'm going to say that's done. This one, I'm not sure if I included this in the actual finals because I don't know if people like it, but I just kind of have a thing for like wispy hair, and I don't know, I dig it. I like how it is. This one I'm going to go 16:9, which is something I do a fair bit, just because I feel like it's kind of cinematic. I don't know, it feels like I'm kind of watching a movie a little bit. But nevertheless, that's done. These ones I included because they're a little bit different. You could take it two ways, so we'll just first chuck the mirror wire on it, and then adjust the white balance, like so. Now here you could either darken the shadows up. I'm going to raise the saturation a little bit, the vibrance, sorry. Just straighten that up a little bit. Now this one, like I said, you could take in two directions. You could either darken it up and just have a nice sort of moody silhouette, or you could just use the shadow slider and bring that up. Now it's a little bit too warm. If you wanted to get some of that detail back there. Personally, I don't know, I could go either way. I kind of like the moody sort of silhouette look. But that's up to you guys. Let's just jump onto mirror wire again. Bring the highlights down a touch. You can see it's just clipping there. So could have gone a little bit darker, definitely, but never mind. Straighten it up. Next up we get to the nice dark moody ones. So these ones I've shot quite a bit under. So let's chuck the preset on, bring it up, and then it's definitely a little bit too warm. And it's definitely crooked. So straighten that up. And yeah, I'm going to call that done. That's pretty decent. Maybe a little bit cooler. So now I'm just going to copy this one again because it's kind of the same photo. Paste that, and then I'm going to make this one 16:9 like I did in the original, and making sure his ear's not cropped and his arm's not cropped off. And for me, that's just a really nice cinematic shot. And then this next one, again, it's just kind of another establishing shot, telling a story about where we are and what's going on. The water just hit their legs and it was super cold, so I just snapped a quick shot down by their feet. It's going to be pretty much a one-click edit, maybe a little bit of an exposure. But yeah, just a nice sort of storytelling shot, I guess. Here I just snuck a quick one of her engagement ring. Straighten that up. Hopefully it's sharp. Yeah, that's pretty much nailed the focus there, nice and sharp. Gotta say, for 1.4, this is a really, really nice lens wide open. Again with the moody ones, so these ones I can definitely just go through and copy the settings from them and paste it on, and that should be pretty much bang on again. Yeah, maybe bring the highlights down. And we'll copy that one. They might actually be a little bit too warm, and paste it on there. So again, all I've done is copied the settings from that, pasted it on there, and it's pretty good. Might even be able to bring it down a little bit more and just raise the shadows up just so the sky's a little bit more moody, but that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now we'll copy this one, move on to the next, and again that's pretty much done. So you really want to be taking advantage of that copy and paste feature when you've got consistency in your shots. And just the last hipster shot for you guys. Up the exposure a little bit, bring the shadows down, cool it up a touch, and I'm going to say that's done. So there you have it, guys. That's how I edit my engagement shoots and weddings and all that sort of stuff with my presets. You'll note a couple of things in camera. It's really important to get it as correct as possible, especially in terms of cropping and straightening and stuff, because that really kills your time when you've got a lot of photos to edit, when you have to crop or straighten every single photo. The other thing, like I said, is that I really try and recover as much highlights as possible, because I really don't like that washed out, blown out look, but that's just my style again. There is a limit in terms of sensor and what you can recover in the shadows before it starts becoming really ugly and pink with color noise and stuff like that, but just keep an eye on it. I find usually with Sony's you can go about 1 to 1.5, even 2 stops under before you start getting any kind of noise and any kind of serious noise in the dark shadows. Anyway, I hope that helped you guys out, seeing how I edit my photos and seeing how just fast it is and just how I shoot in general. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel and look out for the preset video coming up soon.